racist to you because he can't take your energy.
I believe that.
There's a certain energy that we have in us, and when it crosses his streams, he can't take the energy, and it comes out as racism.
Yeah, I believe that.
Now let me explain how this energy is. Based on the science that we get, the white boy is a cross species of different animals plus some human DNA. And the human DNA is what gives him 2 arms, legs, hands, eyes, and all that. Although he don't look like you. But he has several, ape, some pig, you see the white skin, some other stuff. His hair is even fur. So all the black women putting fur in their hair don't realize that ain't nothing but fur. Nobody got, the only animals that's got hair like us is revered as Christ animals, the lamb and all that type of stuff. But him, he has fur, and all the animals have hair like him. But the point I'm trying to make is this here. Now listen to this science here on how this particular racism works based on the energy. If you go into the forest or you go to the forest or you go to the jungle, the most strongest animal in the world, everybody will tell you that those animals are scared of you more than you are scared of it. See what I'm saying? You go, that bear is scared of you. That's what makes him attack. See what I'm saying? That's why they say stand real still and all. If he don't feel threatened, he won't attack. The animals only are threatened if they attack. You understand where I'm coming from? So this is the point I'm trying to make here. Since he's made up of animal DNA, the European, when he comes in contact with a human, that xenophobic fear automatically comes out, just like the bear does in the doggone forest, because he's got latent animal DNA. So therefore, just like the animals fear the humans, he fears the humans too, and we just so happen to be the humans. Now the Gnostic text says that in the last days, man will be against man, woman will be against woman, woman will be against man, man will be against woman. Wrath, torture, murder, mayhem, and all that. But it also goes and says, what these people don't understand is these people are dreaming dreams, and they need to wake up. And this is not a metaphor. Literally, this is an illusion. You see what I'm saying? But it's only programmed, again, through your subconscious. And our subconscious has always dictated us by somebody programming and telling us what reality really is. And what is reality? Reality is only what you told yourself it was.
All right, this might be an unpopular, maybe even uncomfortable perspective to share, but this is why I'm not sharing every tragedy and murder that's happening right now. We're an empathetic people. We feel everything, and they don't. They're sharing it on purpose. They're casting a spell on us of grief, fear, shock, hopelessness. They did it back in the day when they would kill a black woman that was pregnant in front of the community to demoralize the community, to live with a broken spirit. This is spiritual warfare. And I just want you to know how you participate in it matters. So in the future, let's just agree. We know what the reason for this is. And rather than sharing the actual footage, let's just say their name. Shout out to the memory of Pamela Boyer and all those that have lost their lives. You know what I mean? May they be remembered in honor, and may they be able to move on in peace and greatness. And let's just say we know who the devil is. From now on, man, let's just say we know who the devil is, because we know who the devil is, don't we?
I'm sitting there playing video games. I remember after around week number 2, I don't know, I just got kind of bored. And I remember going on YouTube, just looking at old Malcolm X shit, documentaries, just for fun. Wow. And then as I'm looking at these documentaries, they would show remnants of like things of the past as far as like Egypt and shit like that. So I was like, let me look into that, because I remember in school, it had suddenly occurred to me that only thing they ever told us was about slavery and civil rights and what happened to those Negroes that was a part of that movement. And it just suddenly became intriguing to me to understand what slaves were prior to. Really, it was really simple. So as I began to probe this information, I come across like the John Henry Clarks, the Dr. Benz, and I remember I remember connecting to that information at that time very strongly because I can tell that the information that they were conveying was just so full of integrity. You know what I mean? I can tell that they didn't have an agenda outside of just putting the shit out. Like, yo, this is what it really was. This is what you was taught. This is what it really was. So long story short, as a result of that, I get upset. I'm angry now. I'm Black Power. You dig what I'm saying? Like, oh, shit, nigga. You know, like, oh, everybody must die. You know, I'm in that mode. RBG, red, black, and green. You know, I'm militant. You know what I'm saying? And around this time, I'm coming across all the militant motherfuckers. The Sarasu and Setis. Oh, I used to watch that nigga every day. You know what I'm saying? And this is, I'm not casting any aspersions. This is just what it was. You know what I'm saying? I used to watch him. I used to really dig him. You know, his aggression and the information, he was very on point. And then, you know, and I used to watch Netta every day. You know, like, if y'all familiar with Netta TV, oh, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I subscribed to, that nigga had like 1,000 channels. I subscribed to them all. We did. So I'm watching Netta. I'm watching like Brother Polite. I remember when I first seen Brother Polite, that he was just like one of the sharpest niggas I ever heard. Like he I ain't gonna lie, he helped change some of how I was thinking. You know what I mean? Because we were the same age, basically, and I just admired that in him. I felt like he had attained a level that I could aspire to. That's why I was thinking that, you know, that was my thinking at that time. So this is my mentality. RBG, red, black, and green, kill everybody, Black Power, whatever the case. So as I'm going through this idea, and I'm posting shit on Facebook all the time, you know what I'm saying? Did you know that niggas did like really like browbeating this shit? So I remember as I'm going through this thing, one of the things that started to happen, now remember, cops always been killing niggas. That's not nothing new. But it seemed like around 2009, 10, 11, it started to really be in the news all the time. And then, so as I'm watching this thing, I'm seeing Negroes protest like expected. I'm seeing us protest. I'm seeing us being all on TV saying justice for this person, justice for Trayvon. We rocking hoodies, we doing all this shit. So as I'm observing this, it suddenly occurred to me, I started to think about my childhood. I went back to school in my mind, and I was looking at civil rights. I remember thinking about civil rights. And then I remember, for some reason, it was just a natural correlation between the two, what we were going through today and what they were going through back then. And I noticed for the first time that we have never progressed. That's when shit started to get ill for me. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, they're doing the same shit, expecting the same results. I said, this shit is insanity. Right. You know, I'm like, what are we going to do next? Because I was with the shits. You know what I'm saying? I was with being a part of the militant. I was willing to do all those things. I didn't have a problem with it. But then when I started to see in the 60s and I bring it into present day, I realized there was no change. You know what I mean? For the first time, I seen that there was a stagnation of how people went about trying to get change. They were just reacting to shit, not actually creating. So I was like, interesting. So I'm thinking like, okay, there has got to be more to this shit than just trying to get justice. You know, I started to probe that. I started to probe, like, what would we do if we actually got it? You know, like, are we just going to continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again? That's what it started to really mull over in my thoughts. Like, man, like, yeah, I mean, I you know, like, I don't like what they're doing, but all we do is protest. And it never occurred to me until that moment of realization. So I had a girlfriend at the time. She was already conscious, you know. She was already conscious, and I was such a, you take brothers, we take sisters for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even be realizing sometimes the type of sisters we have. You know, she was straight up conscious, and I fucked it up. Anyways, so I remember just complaining to her, you know, like, yo, like, man, we always protest and we don't never get shit done. You know, what we need to do is boycott. I'm saying, I'm like, or I'm basically like ranting and venting to her that it's gotta be something else to this. You know what I mean? And she was like, you need to watch Brother Panic. And I remember like thinking like, I remember the names that sounded like so catchphrasey-ish. I was like, I just felt like he was just another nigga, like the other niggas I was listening to.
Right.
And this went on for several days. I'm like, yo, there's something in me that feels like there's more than life to this shit. She was just like, you need to watch Brother Panic. She wouldn't even try to explain the shit. She was just like, you just need to watch Brother Panic. You kind of sound like some of the shit that he said. You know what I'm saying? To some degree. Not saying that I sounded anything like the brother, but she was like, you're saying some of the shit that kind of reminds me of that. So what you need to do is watch that. And what was happening that my spirit was leading me towards the information that I was hungering for. I was hungering for a new understanding, something that was beyond that was being taught. Because obviously if the shit was all over the media, that can't be the right way. And it never occurred to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, it's got to be some new shit. So I remember I looked up the Brother Panic, and the first video that popped up was Genetic Alchemy. And up until this point, as a Black man in America, you under this idea that whitey is king. You understand? Mm-hmm. And as I'm probing the idea of white people, and as I'm studying ancient history at the same time, I started to piecemeal certain information together. Like, okay, if Black people were this, then where did they come from? They became very intriguing to me. I became obsessed of studying white people history. Yeah. So when I seen Brother Panic's Genetic Alchemy, you know what I mean? And I just remember when he just first started speaking, I just remember having that same eerie feeling when I first heard John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben speak. It was different than when I was hearing from the other militant brothers. It just sounded like they was just propagating an opinion. And I was just being entertained, to be honest. When I look back at it, when I was listening to the militant brothers, I was just really just being entertained. I just liked what they had to say because it was contrary to what the average Negro was saying. Most niggas in my mind was kind of weak. So when I seen the strong Black sisters and brothers saying it, it gave me inspiration. Let's just say it gave me pride and all that. But as I'm sitting and I'm watching Brother Panic speaks, he's just looking in the camera like, I don't give a fuck how you think or how I think. This is just the information. You're going to take it for what it is. I don't give a fuck. That's the attitude and energy that I got. And it was so fresh. You know, it was just so fresh. So as he's sitting here and he's breaking down white people history, he's talking about the book Dirt, and he's going through this shit in detail. And I watched part 1 and 2. I probably watched them both several times a piece. And during this process, I realized how I was beginning to relieve my idea of white people and the power and the hold that they had over me. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, that was the first true breakthrough right there, for sure. White.
Yeah, no, that's good, Kenny. That's good because that is a big part of this thing. The mind control mental play that happened to us into believing, you know, because they got the white dolls and the Ken dolls and shit. And all these Barbie dolls and all of this and the commercials, the cartoons, all of that stuff. They just kind of whitewashed the whole world. So now you're sitting here watching this idiot box and the programming is set in to like say, oh, okay, they are God. You see what I'm saying? Right. Wow, that's Jesus. Okay, well, damn, I guess that's my God. So now when somebody employs you, you look at your employer like, oh God, man, you are just my savior. Thank you for giving me this $15 an hour. You see what I'm saying? So it's a whole mind game, mind fuck that we had to break free from. And you know, that's an important aspect of this thing, this pride, this Black pride. What was an important aspect so people can remember who they are, you know what I'm saying, and start to deprogram them thought forms that'll fuck you up for real. Because man, oh yeah, I remember them days. That shit was not what it was for real.